Dune Awakening ist seit knapp 2 Monaten draußen und Dune Awakening ist es gelungen, eine große Spielerzahl zu begeistern, mehr als jedes andere Funcom-Spiel zuvor. Dune Awakening hat aber auch sehr viele Themen, die gerade in der Community heiß diskutiert werden und zum Glück Entwickler, die sehr offen darüber sprechen. Und genau das werden wir heute tun mit dem Game Director Joel Bylos, der hier zu Gast ist bei uns. Nice to have you, Joel. Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great to talk to you.
Und auch wieder dabei natürlich mein MMO-Experte für Dune Awakening, World of Warcraft und ganz viele andere Spiele, Benedikt Rothaus.
Hallo.
Schön, dass du auch wieder da bist. So Joel, it has been almost like 2 months since release, little more than 2 months actually. Yeah. And you guys are communicating very openly about everything going on in the game, so it's going to be a good talk, I think.
Sure.
But first, just let me know what's going through your head right now. The game started immensely successful. I think it was your biggest success so far in terms of a player base. What's going on? What do you feel?
Well, I mean, there's always this big stress leading into a launch, and you don't really know what's going to happen.
Yes.
And then things sort of went okay.
So I think so,
It was good. And what we're seeing now with the game, which is kind of exciting, but also kind of stressful for me, is like people are very addicted, and they're playing the game a lot, and then they're running out of things to do.
Yes.
And then they're getting mad. And then they're going to Steam and downrating the game. So now I need to fix that.
100 hours, 160 hours played. Nothing to do in this game. Don't like it.
I saw one review on Steam. 1,000 hours played. Yeah. This game sucks. Nah. And I did the calculation. That guy's been playing 12 hours a day since we launched. So it's okay. He got his $50 worth.
There's always this weird relationship that people get with MMOs. You know it also, that you get so passionate, you complain about things, and you don't see that actually you kind of love this game, and that's why you're mad.
But it's like a breakup, right?
Yeah.
You were together with this thing that you loved,
and
then it kind of ended badly.
Yeah.
And then you end up hating it.
And what's bad for you is I also kind of are in this boat, so I also have a lot of questions, but I'm still playing and having fun, of course, but I think we have a lot to talk about, though.
Perfect.
And you guys just released this big plan for the future, what you guys want to do, what you guys want to address in the game. Since it just came out, would you like to summarize it a little bit? Like, what are the things you guys are mainly focusing on for the near future, let's say?
Sure. So starting in a few days, we have this event beginning on the game, which leads into our Chapter 2 update. Mm-hmm. Our Chapter 2 update has 2 sections. There's free content, continuing the main storyline, dynamic events in the world, new quest lines for players to explore. And then we have the paid DLC, which is another set of quests, some new dungeons, and cosmetic rewards, including a new vehicle, which we call the Treadwheel. So that's the very short term. Mm-hmm. And then beyond that, because we launched the game, we're now looking at the end game and how people are reacting to the way that the end game was. And we're building out the plan for how we're going to expand on the end game. We're going to work towards making more PvE activities for people in the end game. And we're going to push the Deep Desert back towards what it was originally intended to be, which is this PvP sandbox. So kind of separating the 2 types of players so that they don't get angry at each other and at us, and then kind of giving them their own paths of progression through the game.
I mean, this probably is like the hardest part, to manage these expectations of the 2 player bases, because you can see it on Reddit all the time.
Yes.
Half of the players are saying, like, we want PvP, we don't want these PvE players to go to the places where has been PvP only. And on the other hand, PvE players are like, okay, I don't want to do PvP.
Yeah.
So, you guys sort of like got the hardest job ahead of you guys to find stuff to do for both of these people, right?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's kind of fun as well, because when the game is out, you get to work with them. So you're actually seeing what players change in real time. When you put an update out and they react, you know what to do, you know what to change. So it's kind of, I think it's fine. It's like a little bit scary, and of course I'm not super happy about getting thumbs down all the time on Steam. But at the end of the day, the reality is you just got to keep pushing forward and working to try and get through these things.
Yeah. But did I read that right? That you guys, in terms of the deep desert, which was like what you changed, you made a half of it PvE. Are you going back on that and you're sending PvE players to a different part of the game?
Not until we fix activities for the PvE players. Once we get the PvE players to have the right amount of activities in other places, then we can think about bringing the deep desert back up towards what it was originally intended to be. So we will fix the end game for PvE players first before we make any changes like that, just so no one gets worried that one day they're going to wake up and they're in a PvP zone.
Yeah, okay.
So how's the endgame loop then going to be changing in Chapter 2?
In Chapter 3?
2.
Chapter 2. The endgame loop doesn't have much in Chapter 2, to be honest, because the development of Chapter 2 was started before we launched. So there was a plan, we're working towards that. So I think the only thing that you'll find in Chapter 2 that really pertains to endgame, I mean, we are making small changes, like we're increasing vehicle storage, so getting in and out of the desert is easier. We're changing a few things. We're working on a salvage system for vehicles, so once your vehicle gets destroyed, or if it goes down and goes missing, you can bring it back to where you are and either repair it or quickly get back up and running. But so Chapter 2 is...
I need to stop you right there because that's big news.
Yeah.
So if it gets shut down, you can get it back for like a fee and then repair it so you don't lose it in that...
Yes, that is the plan. We're going to add this salvage system, probably to the vehicle backup tool, that allows you to like summon a broken vehicle or
so
a vehicle
it will be broken, but you can still repair it.
I mean, it might not be broken, right? You can summon it if you lost it. And so that's kind of the plan. We're going to have this salvage system coming very soon. And then, but yeah, Chapter 2 has more content than anything focused on Endgame. Chapter 3 is where I'm kind of putting all the Endgame stuff because obviously that's our next big update. So,
can I just a quick tour to the DLC? You also foreshadowed. As far as I saw, you put a quest line in it, right? In the paid DLC.
Yes.
Which is quite different than what you did with Conan Exiles.
Yes.
Why?
Well, one of the things we like to do is like provide people with the value of playing the game. So cosmetic DLCs are all well and good, and there is a cosmetic DLC in the future. But the idea was we want people to feel like they earn the rewards that they get through the... So all the rewards are cosmetics, but we want people to feel like they play a quest line that introduces them to why these cosmetics exist and what they have to do with the world. And we also feel like there's more value for people playing the game. That's the way we think about it. So yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, you have battle passes, right? And battle passes exist to make people both play a game and pay, right? And we were like, well, if we're going to have a DLC, let's try to give people about 8 hours of good content as well, so they feel like they get their money's worth of play time as well.
So looking at the bigger picture, I mean, this game is such a unique genre mix, really, between survival and MMO, and I think you guys really delivered on that. So comparing that with other theme park MMOs that we know, how are you guys looking to the future to expand on that? Like, is it going to be in future add-ons? Are you guys adding like a T7, like a T8, so you get another bigger type of progression in terms of materials? Are you guys bringing new stories, new areas to the game, or is it gonna be broader, but T6 is like the peak and it only gets wider and wider? Like, are you looking for that same progression that theme park MMOs usually do?
I think we'll increase the tiers, over time. What we'll do when we do that is we'll add more tiers and we'll decrease the grind for the tier 6. So the top tier will always be the hardest to get. So if we add tier 7, then tier 6 will become easier. We'll make the recipes easier to get, make the resources less intense. But then tier 7 will be the one where it's more intense. Because the top tier is always intended for guild play, right? People playing in groups or with big guilds. There is an element of like how we set up rewards in the Landsrad that is coming. Supposed to encourage solo players as well, giving them more daily rewards and for logging in and
more like mission-based, but not
contract-based. So
contract-based, that's
putting
cool.
in the Landsrad so that instead of it being this big dump of resources and items, people are actually going and doing activities in the world to solve the Landsrad.
So new contracts all the time, so you're not like done once you're through all of them.
Yeah, and you can find different types of contracts. I put some examples in my post, like assassination and things like that. So should be hopefully a good change for the end game.
Yeah, I want to really like touch on one thing that you already mentioned. I was going to ask you this, but then you wrote it yourself. The carrier Thopter is going to get storage module, or is going to get like a container. So this means we will also be able to carry stuff with a carrier adapter to the deep desert then, because right now with vehicles it doesn't work yet.
Yeah, it's the vehicle harnessing technology.
Yeah.
They turned it off because people were losing vehicles when they were carrying them harnessed. We're just about ready to turn it back on. It's almost fixed 100%. So it will come online before the storage container.
That's so cool because we're all dreaming about bringing the sandcrawler like from the Hagar Basin to the deep desert on our Thopter. And this will also be a container then available if you want to bring.
I mean, that was always the plan. It's just that technically we saw right before launch that there was some issues, so we removed that ability. So you'll be able to carry this giant vault with lots of item storage and bring it to the deep desert and drop it down and get all your stuff out.
People will be very happy to hear that, I think. Yep. And also because I think you also took it out in the beta that you could, with an assault copter, for example, with multiple people cross the worlds. This will also come back at some point.
I hope.
Okay.
The tech team there was some issues with passengers.
Yeah.
Right, falling out of them when you travel. Yeah. So we decided to just say, okay, no passengers right now. So hopefully it comes back when the tech is working as it should. We are making big changes to the tech in the deep desert, and so
that's very cool. And another thing in the deep desert that you guys are probably working on is the draw distance of other players, because that's been an issue.
Yeah.
Because the idea behind the PvP, of course, is awesome, and you've seen this in games like Sea of Thieves, where on the horizon there you see another player and you're like, is he coming near us? Is he staying there? And this would be so cool to have that in Dune Awakening also, and not have somebody spawn like 20 meters in front of you and just bombard you.
It's replication, right? It's a quadratic problem in multiplayer games, where you need to replicate the position of everything around somebody to somebody, and the more players there are, the more players need to know the same information. So yes, it's an optimization that the guys are working on. And it's exacerbated in Dune, because if you think about Sea of Thieves, it's kind of on a 2D plane. You're on water and you see a ship in the distance.
Yeah.
But in Dune, the distance between you and the thing, it can still be 500 meters, but it feels like 20 because he's up here. So he's much closer than it feels. So that's the problem. So we're optimizing this, and it will get longer and longer as we figure it out, right? So there is that is definitely ongoing. We'll get better.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So just about, you just said things always been planned. There's one thing that players have been noticing for a while now, which is like that one item slot in your inventory that's always empty and no item goes in there. What's it for?
It's for me to have a slot where I can put a cool item in the future. That's just really what it's for. When we developed the paper doll, I said, leave me a slot. And they said, why? And I said, because one day I'll find something cool to put in that slot. And it gives me an opportunity when we come to the expansion and things to add a new item there, right? And that will increase, you'll be able to build new things.
There's been a discussion about that there has been a kind of a backpack back in like some alphas or betas or something. Was that a thing actually?
A backpack?
Yeah, like some kind of inventory enlargement stuff that's been going into the slot.
No, I've been very clear about this forever. The sort of game direction on this is when you want to upgrade your inventory, you use vehicles in our game. So we've never had any plans to expand the inventory. In fact, we made it larger during the beta because of feedback people gave us, so it got bigger and bigger. But we started out with like 15 slots, so it was way too small, and it got bigger. But no, the plan was not to add a backpack or personal inventory, because we want people to use the vehicle system in the game as their inventory.
So that myth busted.
I actually have a question about base permissions, because I was wondering about the permission system, if this is like final or if you guys are working on that also, because I feel like it could be cool to have the ranks a little bit more customizable.
Yes.
Because in my position, I would like to have some people not be co-owners, but still give them like rooms to customize, or have them place like machines. I think there's even written down for the not the co-owner but the partner, that they can put placeables in the base, but this is not at the moment working.
Not working. Yeah. So there are plans to extend on the permission system and try to improve the way that it works and allow people to set up more custom settings for it. So yes, that is ongoing. I don't know which patch version it's sort of set up for.
Yeah.
It'd be one of the things that comes. It won't be something that comes in a big update. It'll come between. It's one of the things the social team is working on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So about the bases, one of the biggest issues I think I've been reading about and we've been talking about before is that you lose basically all your stuff when you're being offline for a month or something. And a lot of players don't tend to come back after that if they have to start all over again. And I think the biggest problem there isn't losing the base itself, but everything that's in it too. Is there any better way to solve this?
I mean, you can do what Fallout 76 does, which is every time you log out, you take the base with you, and then you have to place it again every time you log in. You can also do what Once Human does, where everything is collapsible into a single thing. The biggest issue for us, again, is because we have live servers and we have new players coming in, we can't leave a city of bases on Dune. It just looks terrible. And it doesn't make the new player feel like they have anywhere to build. So we saw this in the beta when we ran these big beta weekends. So we have to clean up. But one of the things we are doing to tackle this is we're building out the bank, because there is a bank system in the game where you can leave items. So we're going to make the bank a lot larger so people can keep a lot of stuff in there. You don't lose what your character has on you ever. So if you go away for a few months and come back, you'll still have everything you're carrying, which can include a blueprint of your base. And so a lot of the materials and things, you can store all of these things in your bank. You come back and you kind of get up and running within about half an hour. That's kind of the goal. But yeah, I agree. It can be a bit rough if you don't realize that this is going to happen. So that's one of the things we need to be better about communicating. We're also going to implement, right now we're working on this, a system where people can put their email in, and then they'll get sent warnings by the game when their base is in risk and that they might lose their base if they don't come back and refuel.
Yeah.
Just to let people know.
I mean, that's cool, but also it might be quite hard to expect from people if you're gone from the game, you want to keep your base to just log in
exactly.
Every time, pay taxes and stuff. But like he said, I think the main issue isn't the base being gone, because you guys already improved on the Solido projector that now the base is saved completely with all the stuff, with all the machines and everything.
Yes.
So you can store that actually. But I think the problem is losing all the stuff.
It's the materials. And that's what the bank and your personal inventory. You should have enough.
So how much larger are we talking then? Can you?
Many slots. Many slots
and weight.
But it won't be like enough for a single person to hold a whole guild worth of stuff, of course. But it should be enough to get you up and running fairly quickly, though.
But can you use the new freight thopter thing to bring it there? Okay, that's good.
And we're also, there's another thing we're going to do, which we call, it's got a terrible name right now. It's called care packages. But it's just like if you come back to the game after you've been away for 6 months, you'll be able to claim a package which checks like what level you were and gives you kind of the basic setup of items that you would need.
Oh, okay.
So to help people come back as well. So
that might be good, yeah.
So with all the or at least some players leaving, are there chances of having like server mergers or server hops stuff?
Yeah. So I mean, we have worlds, right? Worlds and sietches. So people can jump between any siege. So they can move to a more populated siege right now. The idea is to build in server mergers and character transfers. So they're working on that as well on the back end right now. So we don't have it, but we're gonna get it in, I don't know, within the next few months.
Because that's also what always what feels weird to me in 2025 to meet somebody and be like, oh yeah, we're playing both Dune, let's play together. We can't, because at the beginning we decided for a different world, we can't play together. So it would be cool to have a transfer feature or to have more sieges in the same world.
Yes.
Just so it will be available. And you guys also approved on that, I think, because now you can just, if you want to go to a different siege, you can just put a base there. You're not tied to your home siege anymore. Yeah,
we changed it. It's hard, right? Because I think the difference between Dune and a traditional MMO is just the freeform building.
Yeah.
Right, being able to build everywhere, and so and that storage is very heavy on the server. Right, being able to replicate all the base pieces to every person who's playing.
Yeah.
So those things make the challenge of because most MMOs, if you leave, you leave, your stuff is still there, your level's preserved, but you don't lose a base, right? And with Dune as well, it's also being able to move between servers. Let's say you want to move, but you have a really awesome base and you want to move to another server.
Yeah.
Do you lose the best spot on the server in terms of where your base is and stuff, or you be willing to give it up? That's always the question.
Yeah, I mean, if you move, you should lose it, I think.
I know, but it's a tough discon, right?
I should be able to bring my materials with me. That's what I think, though. You mean? But... Okay, so another thing I was wondering is about, guilds are very I mean, they are a big part of the end game, of course, but right now, in terms of guild features, there's not so much going on right now. There's not even like a guild chat system that goes that you can like communicate if you're offline. Are you going to expand on the guild features, like maybe even give them some leveling options? Because I thought like it would be cool to level up the guild with the spice, since right now the spice, which is like the most important thing in the Dune universe, is just used for me to craft stuff.
Yeah,
but
right
wouldn't
now.
it also be cool to like deliver it to the emperor and then raise recognition for my guild or something like that, and then have a more deep guild system?
Yeah, I mean, you have it on the screen, the Landsrad, like showing the guilds that are the top guilds. So one of the things we're going to focus on is bring in more rewards for the guilds. So guilds can, like, for example, the exchange.
Yeah.
People have to go to the city right now to use the exchange. But what we'll probably do is add a way for guilds to get access to an exchange that they can place in their bases. And then people can go to the exchange in a guild base. So yeah, we are planning on expanding the guild offering in terms of like both giving them more activities, but also increasing how you can rank up your guilds, or at least get access to different placeables and rewards for guilds, specifically by competing in the Landsrad, which is kind of the central political structure there that we're pushing for.
So right now you're featuring that free weekend or free week even for like new players to try and keep the progress after. I have a few people who want to start now, but they are wondering about how. What's like the single most or like the three most valuable pieces of advice you can give them?
Oh, someone starting the game today? I mean, it's pretty basic. Stay off the sand. Don't get eaten by the sandworm, and do not build on the sand. Always a terrible idea. So many people still do it. It's really funny, and also kind of sad. The second piece of advice I would give is stay out of the sun. Stick to the shade. Maintain water discipline, like the Fremen do in the books. Pay attention to the integrity of your still suit. You know, keep your water supply up. The third thing I would say is, if you really want to get a flying head start on the game, if you're struggling with combat or anything like that, take an ornithopter to the city and buy a weapon from one of the merchants there that might be a step or two above where you are in the game already. That will make your life easier in combat for a while. So you can kind of get into maybe a tier or two above by buying a weapon from the city. So right at the start of the game, you can get a bit of a step ahead in combat. So that's kind of what I would say to someone brand new to the game.
It's actually something I didn't know myself with buying weapons, because usually in MMOs, no vendor ever is useful.
Well, we're also, like, it's one thing that I think is quite different about Dune. If you start playing the game and you have a friend who's finished the game, they can give you items and you can use them from day one. There's no level restriction. So we tried to keep it very open because we want people to play together. And that's kind of one way in which you get sort of guilds are like, oh, we need new blood.
Yeah.
Let's introduce some new players, give them some stuff, and get them up and running quickly.
Yeah, I actually quite like that, because this is also what happens with me. Then a lot of players joined later, and we could get them up to speed quite fast. So that was cool.
Yep.
One thing that also, when you read on Reddit on all the takes on Deep Desert and stuff, there was one interesting idea also that you mentioned in your post, I think. People said, why not make the Deep Desert, give it a faction-based PvP? Because then solo players wouldn't be lost and alone, because they could sort of like look, okay, where is my faction waging war? Where can I probably go and farm some materials before enemy lines? And it wouldn't be this Wild West where large guilds would just shoot you on the spot. I heard you're not planning it for the Deep Desert, but you're looking into faction-based PvP modes in a different way.
Yeah, I think we'll do some maps that are faction versus faction on the Overland that aren't the Deep Desert. The Deep Desert should
like
remain...
battlegrounds and other arena...
even just like if you think about the strengths of the game and the kind of thing, it's like, imagine a mini game where, you know, one of the Atreides need to build a fortress and the Harkonnen need to come and attack the fortress.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have a certain amount of time to build the fortress, and then people are going to start coming to attack it. Things like that we can figure out. There's also a PvE.
That's actually a very cool take on how to implement Dune's mechanics into sort of a game mode which many MMOs already have.
Yeah, exactly.
So please do that.
Yeah. Everything just takes time.
Yeah.
That's all. Like, so it's not It's not impossible, and we will work on these ideas. The other side of it, like there's PvP maps, but we can also do this with PvE maps. So it can just be the Atreides need to build a fortress, and then Harkonnen troops start spawning that are PvE enemies, right? So it's a horde mode in a way. So we can do things like that for sure.
Yeah, or maybe even like raid stuff. Did you ever think about like raids? Many players going like a very large. We have these large ships in the air. Why not have them as a raid boss that people get to attack with lots of ornithopters?
Or Shai-Hulud.
Or Shai-Hulud himself, because that would be some payback I was waiting for.
Raids are mechanically, they rely on having a certain flow and rhythm to the gameplay.
Yeah.
Like I've designed raids for MMOs in the past, so I know specifically how this kind of works. The thing is, the combat in Dune is very intensively. We made it very fast. Yeah. It's very quick. There isn't a lot of like difference between 5% damage, and if you bring another person, it changes everything. So designing raids will be hard. Like Destiny has done it, so it's not impossible. But Destiny also like does a lot of bullet sponge enemies for that stuff, so it gets very, very intense. So
you said will be hard. You didn't say would be hard.
Yeah. No, I mean one day we'll definitely consider it, but right now it's not the main thing that we're focused on. Just because I think raids, they require a lot of time, they require a lot of testing and iteration to get them actually very well balanced. And our game has such a free-form combat system that balancing across that, like when you're making a WoW raid, you know what classes you have, you kind of know what top tier abilities you have. With our game, we don't actually, we kind of know what the best mix could be, but it'd be hard, very hard. So it's going to require a lot of effort to make actual raids. But to do raid-like things, like attacking a spaceship and bringing it down and doing things, we can work on some things like that for sure.
But with that in mind, especially when thinking about more PvE content, are you playing on any more classes or something?
Yeah, definitely. There'll be a new skill tree / class coming sometime in the next big update. Yeah, for sure. Nice. So it's cool. Well, I can't say which one it is though.
Yeah. Well, but the thing you said, it's going to be hard, but I think this is sort of what for me defines Dune Awakening, that it goes there and it does something that is probably hard, but you pulled it off for such a large part of the game already. It feels so, for me, it feels so satisfying to progress through the tiers and see yourself do a task that used to be a nuisance because you had to go from this shadow spot to this spot and beware of the worm, and suddenly you're flying over the desert in an ornithopter, and it's all you're doing. And I think, please try to keep pulling this off and keep pushing the boundaries, because I think this is what the strength, where the strength lies.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, it's I think that we really nailed the progression and the feeling of progression and the feeling of the way that the world opens as you play more. Like you suddenly combining things in interesting ways and feeling like the world opens up. So I appreciate that, and that's our plan, like to continue doing this. Yeah,
I think the only thing that people are now saying is missing is just this sort of like an endless progression feeling in the end that sort of is like the MMO thing that many MMOs have.
The treadmill.
Level something, keep leveling something up, even if it's just meaningless numbers and Benedict's nodding.
Number go up. Yeah, we were talking. We had a summit at work last week to talk about Endgame, and that was one of the points that like our progression needs to feel like you can continue to progress.
Yeah.
At the moment, it hits a wall. Yeah. I understand that, so we will fix it.
Well, Joel, thank you so much for coming, and thanks for being so open about it all.
No worries.
I would love to keep in touch with you guys and talk about whenever you have something new to announce. We'll keep playing, and I'm looking forward to the near future and the Karyotopter container and all the stuff you announced already, but also what is coming in the far future with new updates, add-ons, and all the stuff you're adding.
Great.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Danke, Benedikt. War wieder sehr schön, mit dir gemeinsam das hier zu machen.